Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope that everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving holiday. It is me, Nikki, along with Les, your host for Black Spasms Intimate Conversations.
Of the Black Jasmine podcast.
Pretty much. So Today we are going to be talking about relationships. And we're going to be talking about, are you ready to date? Woo-hoo. For those who are in the market or about to be in the market, we're going to talk about self, and because dating is as much about self as it is about the other person. I don't think a lot of people realize that. So we're going to talk about self and what it is that you, meaning you, not me, but you, where you are in life, if you're ready to date, if you need to hold off, all that kind of good jazz. So if you're out there, let us know. Hit us up, say hello. We got anybody out there? We're just talking to ourselves today. We might be talking to ourselves today, Les. That's okay, because somebody will watch it later. So again, hi everybody. If you're just joining, we are going to be talking about relationships with the topic, are you ready to date? Yes, Lord. So with that, we're going to get into it. And the first question is, why do you want to date? Why do you want to date? If you're interested in dating, why is it that you want to date? Is it because you're lonely? Do you feel like you are ready? Is it to keep up with the Joneses? To piss off an ex? There are a lot of reasons.
Piss off your parents.
Right. There are a lot of reasons why people date, and just want to make sure that you're dating for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons. Because if you date for the wrong reasons, you will not have a successful relationship. There are a lot of people who are like, I can't find a good man, I can't find a good woman. And when you ask them why, some of their answers are just kind of all over the place. But you got to look at self first. You have to look at who you are. You have to look at your mental health. Are you mentally ready for a relationship? And everything that a relationship brings. There is commitment. There is, in some relationships, submissiveness. There's a word, it's on the tip of my tongue and I cannot think of it. Compromise. There's compromise. Are you willing to do these things? And not just a one-time deal, but throughout the actual relationship? Are you willing to compromise? So we have our first comment from Ken. I wish I had an answer for this, especially given the fact I haven't dated anyone in 7 years. Well, we're kind of going to talk about that. Hey, Ken. Well, we can jump to that question. Where is it? Wait a minute, what exactly did he say? He said,
Who, Ken?
yeah, he said he hasn't dated anyone in 7 years. So, okay, so that kind of brings us to the next point that I was gonna say is when you leave a relationship, have you given yourself enough healing time from your last relationship, mentally, physically, and spiritually? This is a very, very important and very key point in having a healthy relationship, because a lot of times, and I'm going to copyright this because I say this to a lot of people, but I look at, hey, cuz said no. I look at relationships as traveling. And I look at it as the whole gambit of traveling. So when you get ready to go on a trip, the first thing you do is you pack your suitcase, right? You pack your bags, put everything in that you're going to need for that trip, right? You go on the trip, you have a good time, your memories, all that good stuff. You pack stuff back up, get on the plane, come back home. When you get back home, what do you do? What do you do with your bag? You unpack it, right? Because if you have another trip to go on, you can't. First off, you got to wash your clothes, and you need room. And if you were somewhere hot and you got to go somewhere cold, you need a different change of clothes, right? Relationships are the same way. What you have in one relationship, be it, if you went to the Bahamas, might not be the same thing in a relationship if you went to Colorado. You need different clothes, different things than you would if you went to the Bahamas. So I say all that to say, when you end a relationship, you have to unpack your mental bags. You have to give yourself time to heal from that previous relationship. And a lot of times people don't take the time to do that. They feel like, oh, well, I was finished with this. Now I need to be in another relationship. No, you don't. Who says so? You got to give yourself time to heal. And part of that is self-reflection. Part of that is sitting down with yourself, being honest with yourself, and realizing your faults in that relationship. That's not a pretty thing to do. It's not a glorified thing to do, but it's a necessity. It is absolutely necessary. You know what, Kyle? I'm going to beat you. He's talking about I buy new bags. Leave the old bags is easier. You're probably right. I know I'm right. Because just because you bought new bags doesn't mean that those problems aren't that they're gone. And when you take the time to really self-reflect and realize, dang, I could have talked to him a little better, or dang, I could have talked to her a little better. I'm going to say, okay, so I'm not man bashing. When I say him, it's because I'm a female, but automatically know that it's vice versa, okay? Let me put that out there. Let me put that disclaimer out there now, because I don't want anybody like, Nikki man bashing. No, put the vice versa. If you're a guy, think the same thoughts. But you have to be honest with yourself. As a woman, did you nag him too much? I mean, did you drive him away? What is it about you that you could improve upon in your next relationship? So Kyle says, I'm super introspective, so I do all that before I leave. I already know she tripped. You know what? I'm going to knock him out. I cannot believe that it's always her, Kyle. I mean, I know you blood and everything, but it ain't always her.
Always you guys.
It's not.
You guys, women are agents of chaos.
It's not always us.
It's not, I want to go back to it. I like what Kyle said. I buy new bags, leave the old bags. It's easier, right? Um, right. I mean, but the bag is the individual. The clothes represent what we're carrying and what we're wearing, right? Now, if you can afford to buy a brand new Toomey bag every time you go on vacation, you're a bad boy. You know, Ken said real quick, I want to acknowledge that before.
Okay. I already know one thing about me. I need to improve, communicate better when something happens to make me unhappy. Okay. Communication is very, very key. But Ken, the fact that you know that already, you golden, pony boy. Seriously. Self-reflection, and not necessarily always when the relationship ends, but during the relationship.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because I don't want to lose this. You know how much your luggage weighs when you travel with dirty clothes, opposed to, they tell you a lot of times you can wash your clothes before you come back home, because walking around with dirty clothes or traveling with dirty clothes will weigh your luggage down. And back to something that you said earlier, we're traveling with that, not necessarily with the dirty luggage, but we're traveling with the dirty clothes, the clothes that we've been wearing in other relationships. So if you have someone that's been in the Bahamas, right, and now all of a sudden they get a phone call, I need you to come to Colorado based on the two places that you mentioned, and they don't get a chance to wash their clothes, unpack, but they're wearing the same clothes and the Bahamas that they are wearing in Colorado, which means it doesn't make sense at all. Mm-hmm. So the relationship doesn't make sense at all.
Mm-hmm. Exactamundo. Got to take the time to unpack and clean. And even if it's an extended trip, I mean, you're going to be there for a while. You still got to wash your clothes while you're there.
You got to get it out. I mean, sorry about that. That's important. You know what I'm saying? Getting rid of that old baggage, right? And for us, we're going to call it clothes, because I don't expect anybody to be running around here getting rid of Toomey bags just because they went somewhere and the trip wasn't that good. And if you don't know about Toomey, those things cost, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I wish I could, every time I travel, some people do get new luggage. You know what I'm saying? That speaks volumes to that person, But yeah, we got to get rid of that old baggage. We got to find a way. Kyle also said respectful, which is cool. A lot of people aren't, but, and Nikki, you said, you got to be able to sit down and be honest with yourself. That's one of the challenges. Most people can't be. So they need an accountability partner, or someone, or a coach, or relationship coach, or therapist that's going to help them confront, because in their mind, they may think that they're absolutely positively right.
Okay, that could be true, but if you on your 5th trip in a year, something ain't right. And you're the common denominator in every trip.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's what you want.
I mean, listen, if you want to ho-hop, by all means, do you. No judgment here. But if you want a committed relationship, and you have these relationships for at least a year or more, and they keep ending, and you're wondering why, that's when it's time to really self-reflect. Because a lot of times, we tend to self-sabotage relationships. Hang on. So Ken says, yeah, I know outside the communication thing, there's at least one or two other things I got to fix before the next mate comes around. And then Kyle says, most people don't know what they really want over what they need. I'm going to read that again. Most people don't know what they really want over what they need. Listen, I'm speaking to people 40 and over because I'm going to tell you what. Okay, let me rephrase that. 45 and over. Because when you get to a certain age, it's just certain stuff that you automatically know that you want in a relationship, and you're not willing to settle for it.
You're supposed to.
You're right. You're supposed to.
Because you have people who are in their 50s and 60s, they're still going to it. You know,
right.
Hopefully you get to a point. Keep in mind, there was a movie with what's her name? Messenger. I forgot. She played in Will and Grace.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie that she played in, she had to go to her sister's wedding. I think she was the oldest, so she didn't have a boyfriend. She wasn't married, so she hired this guy to be her escort for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So they got there. They was playing a role. They were boyfriend girlfriend, and he broke it down to her. He said, "This is him. This is not me." He said, "Women have the relationship they want." I'll say this: people have the relationship they want, because there's so much that we can control in relationships, especially things that we do and don't want, but we tolerate them. So when you see people who are still going through the BS, I'm not talking about the black spasms, in relationships in their 50s, their 40s, 50s, right? It's because that's what they want. They want that if it's chaos. They want that chaos. They don't want the calm.
Well, maybe that's all that they know. Maybe that's all that they know. I can only speak from my experience in my relationships, and I'm just gonna be honest. I was with a whole bunch of fuckboys. That's what I call them. Meaning that they weren't gening me, they weren't growing, they weren't enhancing, they weren't nurturing, and they weren't empowering me. Okay. And when you go through that for years and years and years and years and years, and then you meet your Prince Charming, which I have, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, dude, you are too good to be true. Why are you opening up my door? Why are you paying for everything? Why you treat me like a princess? Just why? Because that's how I was raised. That's how I'm supposed to treat, a woman. And a lot of women, when they meet a man like that, they're waiting for that shoe to drop because they're so used to not having that. They don't know how to handle it when they do get it. Which is why I said you got to unpack your bag. You have to be mentally prepared to handle a real man. And you have to be mentally prepared to handle a real woman.
So how do you do that if A, you haven't seen it, if B, you don't know what that looks like, and there's no one there that can show you or teach you what that looks like?
There are books. There are a lot of books out about healthy relationships. And okay, dudes shouldn't be cussing you out. That's number one. That's not healthy. Love doesn't hurt. Okay, if you're in a relationship and you feel, I'm not talking about physically right now, but if you're in a relationship and what he says and what he does hurts you, that's not healthy. Let's talk about health first. You got to be in a healthy relationship. Because if you are in a healthy relationship, then if there's an issue or a problem that comes up, you should be able to go to your partner and say, hey, babe, listen, can we talk about X, Y, and Z and work it out? But if you're in an unhealthy relationship and you go to your partner and their body language changes, or if you say, hey, babe, can we talk? What now? That's not healthy. That's not love. That's defense. Why is he defensive, or why is she defensive? There's an issue there. That's why I say relationships start with self. You could be ready. You could be, all right, I'm here. And then the other person isn't. Right. They might not be emotionally intelligent. They might not have what it takes at that point in their life to handle a real relationship. Because a real man and a real woman, they're not going to tolerate certain stuff. They're going to be like, you know what? I don't need you. Deuces. I'm out. Because they know what they have to offer. And they know that you aren't mentally ready for them and their level. There's levels to this shit. There are. And if you are with someone, if you're here and you meet someone and they're here, if they're not willing to get here, I'm out.
Got to be gone.
I'm out.
And that's
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong if you meet someone and they're here and you're here, if they're willing to get here. If they're like, I want to get to your level, teach me how, show me how to be that way. If they're open, to therapy, or they're open to really looking at themselves, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Actually, I think that's really healthy. As long as that person doesn't become dependent upon you in the sense that they need you for everything. They have to want it on their own. You're just their guide. You're like their tour guide for it.
Right.
I mean, if I'm saying anything that y'all don't agree with, let me know.
No, you're good.
Let me know.
No, I mean, one thing that you mentioned the word emotional intelligence, right? Which in essence is an oxymoron within itself, right? How are you going to have emotions and intelligence? But you can, and with that being said, there has to be a certain high level of emotional intelligence when you're dealing with other people, right? Jean-Paul Sartre said, hell is other people, okay? So if you're not coming to the table with some type of emotional intelligence, then you're going to misconstrue a lot. You said love doesn't hurt. If someone is saying something to you and your emotions are extremely high and you feel hurt every time someone brings something to you, then that's not on them. That's on you. Because a lot of times in relationships, when we do come to help people, they end up getting offended. Yet the people that have been hurting them for years, they're not offended by them at all.
Mm-hmm. Kyle says, yes, both people must help. Yes, both people must help the other grow in different ways. Exactly. That's that gene that we talked about.
Yeah.
Growing, enhancing, nurturing, and empowering. And if that person isn't doing that for you or to you, especially if you're doing that to them, if they aren't reciprocating that. Ooh, my girl is on. Okay, I'm so glad. I like what she's on. Okay. A real man woman is a healed man woman. Trauma in a person decontextualized over time can look like personality. Trauma is a family decontextualized over time can look like family traits. Trauma in a person decontextualized over time can look like culture. I thought she said that. I was about to be like, girl. And I agree with that. I grew up with a lot of trauma in my childhood, a lot of trauma in my childhood. And it is only by the grace of God that I'm not an alcoholic, that I'm not strung out on drugs, because of the things that I have gone through in my life. And those who know me personally, they know my story. They've actually told me I should write a book. But for me, I got tired of being hurt. I got tired of hurting. I got tired of being bitter. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I got tired of being heavy. And I don't know if other people ever reach that point where they're just tired and they're seeking help. Thank you, Elena. So it's, I don't know if people actually get to that point where they want help, where they're tired of every relationship failing. And, you know, like you were saying earlier, Les, I was that person where every time somebody said something to me, it was hurting my feelings. And it was just like, gee, why is it that everybody that I'm with hurts my feelings? That's when it was like, okay, well, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yep. Fannie Lou Hamer said that. And yeah, that's pretty much where I was. I was literally sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of being broken, of not being mentally healthy, of not being mentally strong. But the crazy thing is, when I got into therapy, my therapist told me that I was mentally strong. I didn't see it, couldn't see it. But they're trained to listen and pull out things that I was too close to it. So when I told her my story, she pulled out every strong thing that I had done. Well, Nikki, when this happened, you did this. And when that happened, you did that. You can't do those things without strength. She said, you are a natural fighter. I'm in there crying, snot and ugly crying. I'm just like, I am. And she was like, yeah, you are. I didn't see it though. I couldn't see it. And if the person can't see it, then they don't think that they are. So the way that she had me do certain exercises to think about my strength. And then it was just like, she said, well, when this happened, why did you do that? And I was like, because, you know, me and my daughter, we had to eat. Or because it had to get done. She was like, that's what a fighter says. You don't think about it, you just do it. But I've always been that way. If something needs to get done, boom, I do it. I'm there. I'm your girl. I'm in there for the fight. But it didn't seem to me like I was a fighter. It felt like I was a quitter. But I wasn't, because a quitter wouldn't have been in therapy. And I was like, so I see you got something to say. Go ahead, Les. I see it in your face.
Just a question, you know, when you know, you chose to go to therapy. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess when you got sick and tired of being sick and tired, you wasn't forced. And it wasn't until you reached a point in your life where you needed to make a change. And unfortunately, it's not that easy in life that we just can't drag somebody. You know, we see going through some changes, just grab them and say, you're going to therapy and therapy is going to work for you. They have to get to a point where they want to go on their own because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. I don't know if people actually get to that point, you know, and I don't, I'm not a therapist by any means. I don't know how to get somebody to that point. The only thing I can do is be there for my friends and just share what I've learned through my therapy in hopes that it would help them. Yeah. You know,
well, in doing that, if we could just drag someone off the therapy or even have a conversation within ourselves, then, you know, and that would change things, then we wouldn't have to drag them to a therapist. But what I realize is that we can't heal people, right? We can only create environments for healing. You know, a lot of times that's just by listening, but we can't heal anybody. We don't have the capacity, in my opinion, we don't have the capacity to heal, because if that was the case, then, you know, we would go along healing everybody, especially those who are humanitarians and those who are empaths, you know, and those who really love people. When you get to a point where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know, now with your story of life, you know, from what I'm hearing is that you were going through things, right? But you weren't a victim. You didn't have a victim mindset. You just had, you know, I'm not strong, versus someone that, and as we started earlier, someone just throws themselves into bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and they continue to go through the abuse. But instead of them saying, I'm tired of going through this abuse, I'm going to do something about it, they jump into another relationship, and it all starts with not unpacking their bags.
That was me, though. Everything you just said, that was me. To myself, I had the victim mentality. Outwardly, I did not. So I beat myself up all the time. If you hadn't done this, this wouldn't have happened. And blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, we got 2 comments. So Elena says, not everybody. And Kyle said, people don't know they need it. And that's true. And then, Ken says, I'm seriously considering seeking out a therapist. I feel like I'm not mentally strong to be in another relationship with someone who's headstrong. But the fact that you know that, Ken, you're light years ahead of the game. And it's good that you do know that. Because a lot of people would be like, man, bumping, I'm good. And they'll go on to the next one. But the fact that you know, I got to work on me first. Because no relationship is going to be successful if one of the people involved, if they're not mentally healthy. Everybody has to be mentally healthy. Oh, we got a new person, China. China says, for so long, our race has thrown therapy to the dogs. They seem to believe that's something only Caucasians need to do. Therapy is a plus. Listen, China, that's one of the things that we have said before on this podcast, is that it's like it's taboo in the Black community. And it's not. It's so freaking healing. Look, I look at therapists like this. Therapists are specialists. If you break your foot, you go to a podiatrist. If something's wrong with your eyes, you go to an ophthalmologist. If you need braces like I got, then you go to orthodontist. They're all specialists. You don't go all the time. You go when there's a problem. Same thing with therapy. They're specialists. You don't go see them once a month.
Okay. Not to cut you off. Go ahead. Not to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying that you right. Go see them when there's a problem. And like my therapist said, she said, you may not come to see me for another 10 years, but I'm here when it gets to be too heavy and you don't know how to figure it out.
How many men, Black men, have you? Let me ask China. Can you throw China's question back up for me? And China, I agree with you, because for years in the Black community, therapy, counseling was taboo. Okay. Would you say, in your opinion, that more men thought therapy was taboo, Black men, than Black women? Because I think that the table will turn when you begin to hear more Black men, and I'm talking about the masculine Black men, not the feminine Black men. If the masculine Black man say, yo, I went to therapy, let me tell you something, that shit works, because I've gone, I'm actually one for therapy, because I believe that we all need someone to help us work out our shit. You know what I'm saying? Suppressive, harmful, intrusive thoughts. You know, and without it, what do? But we have to go back and understand or get an understanding as to why is it that Black men never ever wanted to seek out therapy. I can understand a Black woman wanting to go to therapy, especially if she's being abused, if she feels as though she's not being understood or heard. So she wants to go and she wants to be able to say what she needs to say. And then she wants to bring in her counterpart so he can hear those things as well.
Actually, I think that it's kind of even. And the reason that I say that is, I want to share this right now. There are women that go through sexual trauma. And I knew one, and I felt like she needed therapy because she was just very verbally abusive in her marriage. And I was like, yo, I'm going to therapy and I think you should come with me. You'd have thought that I was asking for her firstborn. I ain't crazy. I don't need therapy. There are a lot of females who feel that way. Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly. Elena says, for therapy to work, we have to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a trait that has been discouraged in Black men and at times is disadvantageous in the wrong setting. I agree with that 1,000%. If you are with the right person, you don't have an issue with being vulnerable. My problem was I was vulnerable to the wrong people, which made my situation even worse. It damaged me even more. So you have to be extremely careful who you're vulnerable to. In therapy, totally get it. Be as vulnerable as you need to be because they're there to help you. In a relationship, it's difficult. It's not for me now because I'm with someone and we're here. There is no, we met.
Did you find that person or based on your standards, right? Because after going through therapy, did you get to a point where you realize I don't have to settle anymore?
Yes, exactly. Right. And that's what I was doing. I was settling. And it was just like, you know what? I'm not willing to do it. But I also had the mindset that if I had to be alone for the rest of my life, I was good with that. Because I was not willing to give of myself and not receive what I'm giving. And a lot of times in relationships, we love more than the person loves us. That happens a lot in relationships. And I'm in a relationship now. This is the first time ever in my 48 years where I'm in a relationship where he loves me as much as I love him. And it's shown in actions. It's not, people can tell you what they want, but I'm from Mississippi, Missouri? Missouri State. Exactly. Don't tell me, show me. Right. Because actions speak louder than words. Right. So Kyle says we need therapists of color to understand our problems. Also, I agree with that. And that was one of the things I was going to say about therapy is you have to have a rapport with your therapist. My therapist was a Black woman. She was awesome and love her. And Ken, I will give you her information if you want. I'm not sure what area you're in. She's in the Clinton area. But China says, well, being raised by a strong and stern mother, she would say, go pray, stop being silly. If it don't kill you, it only makes you stronger. So upbringing plays a major part. Exactly. On the other hand, men have to become naked and realize they need help too. Exactly. And China, I totally agree with you 100%. But at oh, you were in resting. Okay, never mind.
I think Ken needs, my opinion, Kyle was right. We do need we need, I'll say, a black therapist. I think, in my opinion, Ken needs a male therapist, a black male therapist first. That's
Okay.
just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
But I want to go back to what China said, right? Um, well, being raised by a strong and stern mother, she would say, "Go pray, stop being silly." Let's stop there, right? Let's stop there, because in the chapter of Black Spasms, it says that Black people who are in need of dealing with their altered consciousness need solutions, not sayings. You know, so when we get into that, if it don't kill you, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, right? And what happens with that, especially with Black women, it's like you got to take on more. Well, you know what? That bullet didn't kill me. Give me another one. You know what I'm saying? And you take that on, you take it on, and you take it on, and you never seek that help. Number one, you can't expand your own vision. You need people to help you with that. Even your outlook on yourself. I tell people all the time, it's like they say, Dolly Parton for years was never able to see her shoes, until she got a reduction. You understand what I'm saying? So she can see clearly now. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. You're so far embedded into the forest that you can't see the trees. And all of that. Right. When she said men need to be naked, no, you're absolutely right. But here's some interesting stuff, right? I shared a room with a female. Okay, so that automatically, gives me that masculine and feminine energy working at the same time, right? So I understand. My twin sister, she was heavy-handed. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? She was hairier than I was. You know what I mean? But the crazy thing about it is that I'm aware that therapy and talking to people is very important, right? And I've surrounded myself around people like Elena that I can open up to, and being naked, as China would say, and being vulnerable, But I'm gonna let someone else talk after this. Jose Viejas wrote a book called Emotional Prison. Jose said, is in his book. This is what he said. He said, I bought herpes. He said, bought herpes. He said, I bought herpes. He said, yeah, because I had a condom in my pocket when I went to sleep with the prostitute. What is it about me that I don't know myself enough to wear the condom, right? Yes. That's funny the way he said it. This is what he said. He said, I take the stick out of life's hands so life can't beat me. So when you go in there and you start talking and you start opening up, you're not worried about what this person is going to think about you, what this person is going to think about, what this person is going to say. You're no longer worried about that, So when you're talking about being naked or embarrassed, in bare ass, you know what I'm saying? That's where it comes from. In bare ass, you've been embarrassed, then you're always going to be worried about that. And I was listening to Dr. Michael Beckwith, and he said, don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed by your embarrassment. He said, look at where you are now. Grow from where you are now. And the only thing you should be embarrassed about is that how you were back then. That we need to develop ourselves to the point. Don't be embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed. Be embarrassed that, if you don't grow. But don't be embarrassed because you went through some shit, right? Because everybody, and China, you're absolutely right. And Black men, we have a hard time showing vulnerability. I have a hard time showing vulnerability because with me, I'm wide open. But if you show vulnerability to the wrong people at the wrong time, you're going to get hurt. What we need to learn how to do is be selective. And this is why if you're going to go and discuss your trauma or your addictions, go to someone that is licensed, that understands a code of ethics and code of conduct. So when you walk out of that office, they'd be like, God damn, that shit was fucked up. But you won't hear about it next week.
Right. It won't be on social media.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then it gives you an opportunity to get all of that out. But yeah, you're right. We do need to, Black men need to be a little bit more vulnerable, but, excuse me. However, as you were saying, Nikki, you know, you're showing vulnerability to all the wrong people, you know, and when Black men do show vulnerability sometimes, and this goes both ways. This, you know, I'm speaking from a male perspective only here. But you know, when we become vulnerable to people, then and we get hurt, we're not going to open up our vulnerability again for a long period of time. I'll let you read the comments.
Okay, so gotta say hey to my girl Lynette. What's up, boo? And Kyle is on to something. Many Black boys are taught not to feel. Cause you said a mouthful right there. Which is why when I see Black men hugging and kissing their sons and telling their sons that they love them, I love it. Because Black men are taught you got to be strong, you can't show fear, you can't show weakness and this, that, and the other. But what they don't realize is that flows into their relationships. Not telling your woman that you love her often, not showing her when you're afraid, not having that vulnerability. And I'm talking about in a healthy relationship where both people, you know, are trusting each other. If you can't, I will say for me, for a long time, I didn't think that men had feelings until I heard a guy's feelings and he cried. And it was the most foreign thing to me. And I was like, what is he crying for? Like, I didn't understand what was going on. But I didn't realize that he had feelings because he was so macho this and macho that. And every guy that I had been with was the same way. Just this hard exterior. So I didn't think that they had feelings. And it was just, when I tell you it was an eye-opening experience, it was just like, oh my gosh, men actually have, and I know that sounds stupid, but that was my experience. And it was just like, oh my, they hurt just as much as we do, if not more. And listen, when a man is hurt by a woman at a young age, baby, cracking that there heart again, oh, that's a hard thing to do. Whew, that man is like, nah, bruh. I don't like the way that feel. I'm going to keep you at arm's length for a while.
Right. Let me give you a story right quick. Former friend of mine told me this a long time ago. Now, let's talk about how we have been taught. China said, her mother said, you know, stop being silly. You know what I'm saying? Go pray. If it doesn't kill you, to make you stronger, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens if she grew up with that mindset that, you know what I'm saying? You know, stop being silly. You got a problem, go pray. You know what I'm saying? You know, your husband comes home and he kills you out or he hits you. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Did it kill you? No. So, you know, stop being silly. Go in there and pray. That's your husband. Now, she's been introduced to a lifestyle. Hopefully that's not her, but she's been introduced to a way of life, right? That's not beneficial to her or anybody else. So a former friend told me this years ago. He said, Les, let me tell you how this works. All right? So let me tell you how this works. The nephew comes over to the aunt's house, right? Different neighborhood, maybe different state, right? And he's, you know, his mother takes him, their sisters, and the aunt says, oh, you're such a handsome little nephew. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got a girlfriend? Yeah, well, she ain't here. I got this nice little girl I want to introduce you to. You know what I'm saying? She's right next door. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, he hanging out with her and the girlfriend back home because he doesn't know to say, nah, auntie, I can't do that. So therefore, that is one introduction. And I don't think there was any harm in what she was doing. I don't think she was trying to be malicious towards the girlfriend from back home.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, we've all done it. You know, my aunts have done it to me. You know, let me introduce you to this little girl right quick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got some comments.
So Lynette says, and to be guarded and no trust in women and don't let them see your soft side. Ken says, yeah, in my 20s, I was trash in relationships. After a month, I found a way out because I lose interest. I thankfully grew out of that. And then Lynette says, layers and layers of walls, and they believe them walls. It makes it harder for us to climb over or break through. And that goes for women too. I mean, it's not just for men; it's for women too. And then they are hurting inside, and they are doing is making it work harder to love them. Real emotional strength is the ability to be intimate in your imperfections and honor the other person's offer of intimacy with care. And intimacy is very, very key in a relationship.
I mean, things are different people.
Yeah.
Intimacy is different.
Yeah, and it really, really is. In every relationship, you know, my thing is, I don't go by what society says because society is not in my relationship. I don't go to sleep with society. I don't wake up with society. You know, every relationship, both people should kind of define what it is that they want or are looking for in that relationship. And I will say one thing about dating. Interview the person that you're interested in. And by that, what I mean is sit down and have a conversation with them. That is what happened. I tell my boyfriend that all the time. I'm like, when we had our first date, I told him, I was like, yo, I felt like I was being interviewed. And he was like, wow. I was like, yo, you was hitting me with all of these questions. Da, 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 da. But looking back on it, I loved it. Because if you really like the person that you're interested in, you got to know where they are here. So by interviewing, I mean questions like, well, why didn't your last relationship work?
But that goes back to vulnerability, right? But you're setting someone. I'm with you on. Listen, I want to know everything, right? First date, I want to know everything. But what happens is when you start asking questions like, "What happens? What happens in your past relationship?" Right? Then if I'm trying, okay, you go to a job, right? You get called for that $350,000 a year job that you can work from home 2 days out the week.
This is a great segue into this next one. What are your expectations? So go ahead.
Okay, and your boss asks you.
I'm sorry.
I got you. Your boss asks you. So what happened to you in your last job? Right? You're gonna say I got fired? No, because you think if you tell that your boss that, it's going to jeopardize you getting that $350,000 a year job, right? So how many people are going to be honest?
What
did Lena say? Lena said, because Lena's got to be more careful.
Oh, careful. And then Lynette says you really can't have intimacy to be effective if your heart's hard and guarded. All you're doing is hurting the other person. Hard is hard. And then Ken says the problem with asking about previous relationships is all over the internet. People discouraged about Is people discouraged asking about past relationships because of turn off. But you know what? Let me explain something to you. If it's a turn off to them, it's a red flag. I'm out the door. Because if I'm at a point in my life where I want a serious relationship, I had no problem telling him, because at that point I didn't feel vulnerable. It was, I admitted what my issues were, because that's the only way that I'm going to grow. And it's either going to do one or two things. It's either going to scare off the person or it's going to turn them on. So asking about past relationships, if they can't answer that question, to me, big red flag. Well, why don't you want to answer the question? Like, what's wrong? Because a lot of times it's about self. It's about what's going on in here, you know. And I was honest about my indiscretions. I told him, I said, yep, I cheated before. But I explained why I cheated. I explained how that got me into therapy. I explained all of the circumstances around it and didn't scare him off, not one bit. He loved the fact that I was honest. He loved the fact that our first date, he's like, yo, she ready. Like, you know, there's nothing to hide. When you get to that point where you want that relationship, like I said, it's either going to run them off or it's going to turn them on. And if it runs them off, cool. You weren't the right one.
And
because
but how many people are at that point in their life where they're saying, listen, if you don't want me, cool, you're not the one for me. Okay. If
a lot of people not there then.
But and see, and that's so this conversation will never is not for them, you know, because you have to be at a certain point. Because by you opening up and by you being honest, you know, because a lot of times people are just looking for honesty. A lot of people are very mature. It's like, listen, you had a past, okay, cool. As long as your past doesn't interfere with my presence, which can affect our future, then we're good to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elena said you got to ask and observe, right?
You do. You have to ask the questions, because if you don't, you're not going to know. And Elena, I get you when you say that people lie, but you can tell when somebody lying to you.
No. Okay, you can tell. You just turn off that third eye, so you're not paying attention.
Exactly. But my thing is, if I feel like you lying to me, I'm gonna pry, because listening is more than just here. It's here. It's observing body language. Because I watch people. If you ask somebody something and their body language starts to change, okay, well, I'm watching that. Okay, well, that makes me uncomfortable.
What about that person that doesn't have those tools? You know what I'm saying? Not everyone has gone through challenges where they understand that, yo, some ain't right here. You know, I mean, how many times have we settled for certain things? I'll put it to you like this. Let's do the marshmallow test, right?
Okay.
Take two black kids, hungry as hell. You know what I'm saying? You bring them to the room, say, listen, I'll give you one marshmallow now and two later, right? Okay? If you can wait. Or you can have that marshmallow now, but you won't get the two later. How many of those black kids who are starving are going to say, you know what? I'm going to delay. No, they're not. They're going to eat that marshmallow. They're going to eat that marshmallow because a lot of us are starving.
Okay, so
Omar Jordan wants to know what the topic is.
We got to go through these first. So Lynette says, pride and ego is a beast on both sides, so people can't handle the truth. And China says, people can make their mouths say anything. They agree to everything on the application and interview, and eventually the true person shows up. Sometimes it's early in a relationship or even years into it. And then Omar says, what's the top relationships? Are you ready to date, Omar? And then Ken says, I agree with Les. It seems like my ex has been lying to, I guess, me for the last couple of years, but I could never tell. Some people are very clever. I guess for me, when you've been through a lot of shit, you see shit pretty much. And you know, there's an old saying, you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Right.
And my boyfriend, you know, we tell each other that all the time. If he feels like I'm not being, like, if he asks me what's wrong and I say nothing, he knows something wrong with me. I just don't feel. And sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to discuss it right now. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Elena says, friends and family can sometimes see what you can't. Exactly. Exactly. If your peoples don't like them, look again. So I mean, but talk. Okay, communication is a skill. There people will tell you more about themselves in talking than they will in doing. You have to, and this is the hard part. This literally comes with years of experience. You have to know what questions to ask. Sometimes people ask closed-ended questions where you'll get a yes or a no. I like asking open-ended questions where once I ask the question, it's going to lead me to another question and another question. And before you know it, you're divulging your life story to me and you don't even realize it. That takes skill. It's not something that happens overnight. I mean, I had to learn that. And I will ask, if I know the answer to a question, I will ask the person that question just to see how they respond and if they're going to lie to me. That's just me. I've always been, as part of, I'm a Virgo. I can't help it. It's just who I am. You know, you understand that, Les. You have to talk to people. You have to talk to that person. And sometimes you got to push. Sometimes you have to push. And if that person is giving you resistance, you got to ask yourself why. That explains why my parents gave her the side eye. I always thought it was because they came up during segregation era and she's a white woman. That could have been part of it, but like I was saying the week before last about, you know, my daughter's friends. As parents, man, we just know. I don't know what it is. We just kind of have a sixth sense about these things. When, you know, I'm pretty sure, Les, when you've met some of your daughter's friends, you might have looked at them like, yeah, I don't want you hanging around so-and-so.
You mean my 8-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, she ain't got no friends.
You know what?
She ain't got no friends. She got associates. She don't know. Listen, her 7th birthday party, I think it was a 7th birthday party. She invited a bunch of people to her party, right? One showed up, right? I mean, it's a good thing, you know, her cousins were there, you know, and I looked at her, I said, friends, right? You know, but I understand what you say. No, she ain't got no friends. 8-year-olds, please, she ain't got no friends.
So
I'm your friend.
the next thing I want to talk about are, what are your expectations? And then I'm going to couple that with, are your expectations realistic? These are very key things, because you know you get women. I'm just putting this out there. You get women that say, you know, he got to have an 850 credit score. He got to drive this. He got to have his own job. He got to have a particular brand of car and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, okay. So let's say he has all of those things. What do he need you for?
He doesn't.
What does he need you for? Your credit score 450. You catching the bus. You got 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. What does he need you for again? Okay. I'm just saying. What are your expectations, and are your expectations realistic?
before we start answering that, Lynette, man, can I read that? Because I was shocked.
Okay.
I am in a serious relationship now, but it took some years to finally get over my divorce and that my husband of 8 years left me. Stop. I didn't finish the sentence on purpose. I didn't finish the sentence on purpose. She said, I'm going to put a period for left me, okay? Period. And then I'm going to add for a man, right? So my question to her is, were you more hurt at the fact that he left you or the fact that he left you for a man? Because that's when, if that, that's when ego can come into play, but I understand what you're saying because I'm familiar with the situation. Like I'm familiar with two situations like that, and the question that I do want to ask, Lynette, is when you entered into the next relationship, were you upfront, open and honest with the person when they asked you, why did you divorce? That's why we need call-ins. People would just call.
Well, my cousin told me that. He said, y'all need to be able to call. I want to be able to call in. Yeah. I have to look into that. I mean, this is something that we doing. I don't know if that's going to cost. I don't know. But yeah, that's a lot, Lynette. And I'm baby girl, I'm glad that you are in a serious relationship. I'm glad that you got the healing that you needed to move on, because that could damage some people to the point where they never want to trust again. Yeah. Both the man was my friend. Oh, dang.
Okay. I got
okay. So the guy that your husband left you for was your friend. Just to make sure that did I get that right?
Seems like it. But she was saying, yeah, both. The fact that he left her and the fact that he left the guy that he left her for was her friend. Yeah, you know what? And the reason why I asked that question is because now you're dealing with two different things. You're dealing with, number one, it's because some people would be like, women would be like, what is it about me? I know a guy who his wife, he found out his wife was a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure, that hit his ego. I don't know how long, but it's like, wow, I mean, am I not good enough? You know what I'm saying? But these are some of the things that we've been, taught as well. Like when in Boomerang. Remember Boomerang in the scene where Martin Lawrence and what's the guy's name? He played
Alan Greer.
Alan Greer and Eddie Murphy. They were on the rowing machine. And they was talking and shit, and Martin said, well, at least my woman ain't leave me for no damn guardian angel. David Alan Grier got upset behind it. But see, these are the things that affect and alter Black relationships, period, but especially the relationships between Black men and Black women. It throws everything off kilter. It throws everything off, because now if Lynette does not, now the onus and responsibility is completely and totally on her, because she now has to deal with that. Because if she doesn't deal with it, if she takes that out on the next person, what happens if he takes that out on the next person?
It becomes a vicious cycle.
And that's the thing about it, all because of a decision that was made by someone else. It's like, it's like the slave owner beats the slave, but the slave has to be the one to apologize.
So Ken says, I was in 2 relationships in my 20s where I was cheated on. One of those, I stupidly went back and she cheated again. All right, before we get to that, so everybody keeps saying the call in thing. Okay, so riddle me this, y'all. If we do this via Zoom, is that something that you guys would be open to? Because with Zoom, people we can talk to one another, or maybe I can do it where it's just you and I, Les, and people can call into the Zoom if I give them like the telephone number. Okay, I'll look into that for next time, y'all.
But feedback is cool. I would love to get some feedback. I think, we got some dialogue going on. First of all, I got to give you your props for opening this up, right? Because this relationship stuff is deep. I want to go back. Black people need Black therapists.
I agree.
We do.
I agree.
I went to a therapy session one time. White guy, Jewish guy, right? First of all, he was late to the appointment. His shirt was wrinkled. You know what I'm saying? And the first and I guess it was me, right? Because first of all, I didn't really want to deal with it. I didn't want to be there. I went as a request, right? So the first thing I told this cat was, I said, yo, man, before we get started, all right, I want to tell you this. I said, most people don't have relationship issues. They have unresolved childhood issues, right? So he started writing this shit down, right? I'm like, hold up. He's stealing my material, right? So we were talking, and he didn't really, in my opinion, he didn't really understand. Well, he didn't understand me culturally. So, he was saying, well, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. Well, I'm not doing that shit. I told him straight out, I said, I'm not doing this shit. You do it, right? And maybe it was my attitude, but it was, you don't understand where I'm coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, I want you to tell me 3 things that your wife did for you that was nice. I said, no. I said, man, fuck that. I said, you tell me 3 things what your wife did for you this morning. He said, well, she left the light on for. I said, man, she's supposed to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
that was all messed up, Les. That man could have done nothing right.
No, he couldn't have. Listen, he was calling me to come back for session. No. If you lay down on that couch, then I'll be the one. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Allison? How you doing? Thank you for
Allison.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is we need people that, be it a Black male or Black female, who are invested in, whatever your nationality is, right? If we need Black people, we need Black people that are invested in us, who understand we're building a nation building here. So if you go in and you say, well, I came home and as soon as I walked through the door, my wife started getting on me about taking out the trash. Someone may say something like, well, maybe the reason why they wanted you to take the trash out so the house wouldn't stink and there'd be rats and roaches in the house. And you're looking at them like, yo, if you understand anything from a cultural perspective, right? Don't know what Black man want to be jumped on when he walks into the door. Not at all.
Right.
What you can do is, hey, honey, how was your day?
Thank you, Elena. He is. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, finish.
Hey, honey, how was your day? Everything went well? Sure. Nikki dropped some cigars off. Would you like a cigar? And then afterwards, yo, man, you got to start taking this trash out, Joe. We're going to mess around and get rats and roaches up in here. The approach is different. I'm finished.
All right. So, Omar, to answer your question, with this, I'm broadcasting on 3 different platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, live all at the same time. So that's why it's kind of like, difficult. I'm gonna figure it out though. So read that for me, Les. Lynette.
There were so many DL red flag signs, but I think it was because everybody was getting married. I should have kept my husband as my friend, and he has a girlfriend and him. Oh, I wouldn't say I was reckless in having sex, but I was trying to fix the hurt until I sided to myself and said, okay, to stop Lynette. I love my therapist and helped me out, and my issues was deep childhood trauma. Zoom is better, calling them out. All right. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna figure it out.
But see, she just answered. She put it back up. Can you put it back up?
Sure.
She understood. She understood herself. She understands herself.
Yes. Yep.
You know, but look at where it all stemmed from. Her childhood.
Hello, mine did too, and it's
Everything in
crazy.
your childhood.
It's crazy. It's crazy how it stemmed from my childhood. So, my biological father wasn't in the picture, but I had my dad. He's the only father that I've ever known. But I didn't realize, even though I had my daddy in my life, I still suffered from abandonment issues. I didn't realize that though, because I had my daddy. You know, he's the only father that I've ever known growing up. I mean, he was in my life since I was what, 1.5, 2 years old. So to him, he is daddy. And I didn't realize that I was dealing with abandonment issues on top of the trauma that I suffered in my childhood and in my adolescent years. So had I gotten into therapy sooner, I probably would have been healthier mentally a lot sooner in life. But I think that we all go through things, and it makes us who we are. You know, like I said, I didn't want to be. I got tired of being tired. I got tired of being bitter. I got tired of being angry, which is why I got into therapy. And it was the best decision that I could have made. And listen, I tell everybody that will listen. If you need therapy, go. But this is the thing. Nobody has to know that you're going. That's a private thing. You don't have to announce. In this age of social media, everybody wants to put everything on social media, their relationships, what they're doing, what they're eating. I was guilty of that in the beginning. But I don't post. My boyfriend and I, we take pictures all the time. I don't post them all the time because it ain't for everybody to know what I'm doing with him. It's not. I mean, we've traveled, we've gone all over the place. People don't know because I'm not geotagging where we are. I may post a picture of like a sunset and the beach, but I'm not telling you where I am. You know, people are so used to letting everybody in. But the problem with that is everybody's got an opinion, but it's nobody's opinion. If you decide to go to therapy, keep it to yourself. Because that's a personal thing. You know, now if you have like a person or a friend that you know that's with the accountability aspect, then that's cool. You know, if you have somebody like, you know, I'm going to therapy, you know, will you be there for me, you know, afterwards? Sure. That's not a problem. Make sure that person is somebody that you can trust and that will keep, you know, that will keep your secrets. Side note about Zoom, the free. Oh, I got the subscription. Don't worry about that. I ain't tripping.
Can we go back to something Elena said earlier in the conversation?
That you a tough nut to crack?
No, bite me. Not that one. She said, people lie. No, not that one. You have to observe.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you. You got to ask and observe.
Ask and observe, right? And, you know, there was a movie years ago with Salma Hayek, and I forgot the guy. He was in Friends. It was called Fools Rush In.
Oh, I love that movie. Okay, I'm going to stop being excited, but go ahead.
No problem. And the vice president of Nokia said, y'all remember the Nokia phones? Nokia?
Yes.
Years ago, he said, for fast action relief, try slowing down. Okay. Now, go ahead.
I think we all have to take responsibility for our part in failed relationships. 100%. A relationship autopsy is a must and an opportunity to grow. Exactly. And then Omar says, well, damn it, I want to see y'all together. So I can give the brother kudos for his strength. Shut up, boy. All the guys love less. So she says, in my last relationship, he was a fuck boy, but I violated my own boundaries. Totally.
Hold on. This is for Elena. I got to do it every session. You ready?
Bye, Les. Hey, Kenny, did your move, man?
Hey, that was for Elena. Hold on.
But you know, Ken loves when you do that.
Hold on.
For those of you who are new to this, Les is a fool. He does this every week. Every week he does that.
No. That was for Elena.
I know it was.
Oh my goodness. No, she didn't. Anyways.
Hey, we've all dated fuck boys.
Hey man, let me tell you something.
Every woman, and ladies, let me know if I'm right. Every woman here, I was cooking.
I'm cooking fried fish.
That's what I had for lunch. I had cod and some fries. Anyway,
I'm having cod for dinner.
Cool. See, it's a fish thing today.
Yeah.
But ladies,
as long as we don't smell like it, we good.
Yeah, right. Listen, every woman has dated a fuckboy. Every woman has dated a fuckboy. It's just, I think it's in our DNA. And sometimes that person or that relationship might fit the need, that might fit whatever situation you're going through at that time. Because when I was honest about, my relationships at that time, I could not have handled a serious relationship. I wasn't mentally healthy. I didn't have emotional intelligence for that. He talking about some language. Hey, Omar, listen. This is organic. We say what we feel. If we cry, we cry. That is the one thing about this podcast that I love, is that we say what's on our hearts. Now, we won't get crazy with it, but we're very organic on here, and we love feedback. We love when you guys comment. It drives us. We love it. So keep the comments coming. But I forgot what I was getting ready to say. Wait. So I do want to ask a question. So for those out there, what is the most intimate thing that someone can do for you, to you? What does intimacy look like to you?
Can I go first?
Yep.
A kiss on the cheek. Most intimate act.
Okay, for me, honestly, it's I don't know. For me, it's smoking a cigar with my baby. We have some of the best conversations over cigars. That's actually how we met. We met at a cigar event, and when I said that I was being interviewed, we were smoking cigars. And for me, those that know me and know how much I love cigars relax me. I think it, shoot me your number and the DM, Lynette. I think I got it, but shoot it to me anyway. It relaxes me. I think a lot better. It opens up my mind more. So for me, intimacy is that, or intimacy is just being in his arms, like laying on the couch, watching a movie. We don't have to go out, because I asked him once, I said, what does intimacy mean to you? And he was like, this, just being with you. Just being with you, period. I mean, we don't have to do anything special, just hanging out. So unless you want to read this from, well, I'll read it. fatherless home, but I had my uncles in the house. I was sexually molested as a child, and I don't handle abandonment well either, relationship or friendship. I've been in a relationship now going on 3 years. Oh, it wasn't easy. He had learned my DMV ways. He's from North Carolina, so we had our fights, and I was on guard and ready to attack back. But going to therapy, I found out that I was a victim and abuser on how I talk to people. And then Ken says, for me, having a woman that will sit with me, smoke cigars with me, and vibe out. And then Lynette says, stimulating conversation to my mind, you laid and kiss my cheek. I'm just saying. Oh, and kiss my neck. I'm just saying. But, you know, like we were saying, intimacy, you know, is different to different people. So, you know, it's just, but it's important to communicate that with, Omar says, yes, intimacy has varies identities for different people. It does. But it's important for your partner to know that. You know, it's important for your partner to know the things that you like, you know, and everything I'm saying is vice versa, y'all. It's important for them to know what your goals are. And even if they can't help you achieve them, but being there to support you, you know, in your goals. If you have a partner that is self-employed or is trying to be an entrepreneur, you might know nothing about whatever industry that person is in, but just being supportive. If they got to be out all hours of the night or whatever, or a whole bunch of meetings, or they got to travel, not nagging that person. Well, you ain't spending time with me. Let me go. That no. Just being supportive, baby. What do you need me to do? You know, how can I help you? What is it that you, and if that person says, I just need you to be here when I get home, then do that. Don't be like, there's got to be something more. If that's what that man or that's what that woman tells you that's what they need, give them that. Stop trying to put what you think that they need into that. Listen to what they say and give them what they say, and vice versa. And then China says, intimacy to me is being in a room of quietness, sitting on the floor together. I'm straddling him and just talking to one another, breathing his air and he breathing mine, manifesting into one another. Our intimacy is deep. See, everybody's got something different, and I love it. And I love the fact that they know what intimacy is to them.
And China's explanation of what intimacy is to her, that, from what I'm getting, is that, you know, that's a high level of emotional intelligence as well. You know what I'm saying? Because what she basically said was, you know, just, you know, he's breathing me, I'm breathing him. You know, we're one. No one in here said anything about sex.
Nope.
At all.
What's that poet, something Sanchez? I think she said something like, I breathe you in and I get high or something like that. That's what China's thing reminded me of.
Okay.
That's what that reminded me of. Cool. It was a quote in Love Jones when they were walking.
Okay.
And she quoted Sanchez, something, thoughts of you, I lay you down or something, I breathe you in and I become high. It was something like that. I thought that was just beautiful. Yeah. That was a great line. That was a great line.
I think we got another comment.
Elena says, intimacy to me is shared peace.
See, that's deep. That's deep too. I mean, for people who are looking for peace, that's
priceless.
You know, and the older you get, the more you want peace. You know. Let me find a quote. Gil Scott Heron says something about.
You love some Gil Scott Heron, don't you?
I love Gil Scott. Excuse me. I love. You know what? I'm careful to say what I love, right? You know, I said one time, I love my car, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't love anything that doesn't breathe. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like what my car can do for me. So when people say, "Oh, I just love Michael Jackson," and you've never met Michael Jackson before, right? So I just
music.
right, you love the music. So I said, "Man, I love Gil Scott-Heron." Then I had to correct myself. I said, "But you do know Gil. You've met him. You've spoken with. You have pictures with Gil. But you know what? I don't know him." Does that make sense? So
Yes.
I love what his music has done for me, and how, even to this day, I still, reflect on it all the time.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to change
Um,
my propane on my heater because it's getting cold. Go ahead.
Omar said, Elena Thomas, totally agree, 100%. And then Elena shared Sonia Sanchez. I gather up each sound you left behind and stretch them on our bed. Each night I breathe you and become high. Hold up, time out. I would not be outdone in the quotation department. I got one for you. Girl, I'm about to blow everybody's mind.
Thank you, Elena. That is it. I love that.
Always trying to outshow me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I brought it up. It was just
no, I'm the smartest. I'm the smartest one in the room.
And Elena says, to me, peace is priceless. Oh yeah. I mean, you can't put, a price tag on peace. And with all the hell that I've gone through in my life, I need peace right about now. Any other time I can get this, but because we live, it don't want to do right. Because it's cold in here and I need my heater to do right.
And for the record, Ken, it's not hating. It's a high disregard and disdain towards people who try to elevate their consciousness higher than me. You're right. It is hating. There is that's the long version of you hating. You're right. Nikki, what are you doing? Making peanut butter jelly? She making cigar sandwiches. Nikki.
Shut up. Oh. I said, shut up, Omar. No, I'm smoking and my heater went out. And I had to change the whatchamacallit on it. I know what I'm doing. I was trying not to be loud.
Hey, can I read something right quick?
Go ahead. You ain't got to ask read. You host too.
Well, I like that what Sonia Sanchez said. I gather each sound you left behind and stretch them out. Stretch them on our bed. Thank you. Each night I breathe you and become high, right? And in the book, that's right, Omar, I got one. It's coming. My man. In the book, The Alchemist, right? Because when you start talking about intimacy, that right there is that thought quote from Sonia Sanchez can get you beyond intimacy. You know what I'm saying? If you play it. Watch this. In the book, The Alchemist, for those who've never read it, says, the alchemist picked up a book that someone in the caravan had bought. Leafing through the pages, he found a story about Narcissus. Right? It's real quick. The alchemist knew the legend of Narcissus, a young boy who knelt daily beside a lake to contemplate his own beauty. He was so fascinated by himself that one morning he fell into a lake and drowned. At the spot where he fell, a flower was born, which was called Narcissus. But this is not how the author of the book ended the story. He said that when Narcissus died, the goddess of the forest appeared and found the lake, which had been fresh water transformed into a lake of salty tears. Why do you weep? The goddess asked. I weep for Narcissus, the lake replied. It is no surprise that you weep for Narcissus, they said, for though we always pursued him from the forest, you alone could contemplate his beauty close at hand. But was Narcissus beautiful? The lake asked. Last sentence. Who better than you to know that? The goddess asked in wonder. After all, it was by your banks that he knelt each day to contemplate himself. The lake was silent for some time. Finally, it said, I weep for Narcissus, but I never noticed that Narcissus was beautiful. I weep because each time he knelt beside my banks, I could see in the depths of his eyes my own beauty reflected. That's intimacy for your butt right there.
Hold on. China said, this is great. Here it is, my birthday, and I was scrolling my timeline, I heard Nikki speaking, and then I was stuck. Happy birthday, honey.
Birthday.
I knew nothing about these segments. What days do you air in time? I'm going to exit and celebrate the remaining of my evening. Looking forward to this. Honey, we are here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we will be here. Happy
birthday to you. And I think all the people came, happy birthday to
you. You've just been serenaded by a clown.
My glasses. Hold on. Where my glasses?
No, you didn't.
I like to think all the people came tonight. Happy birthday.
Moving on. So back to dating. So
hold up. Nuh-uh.
What?
Nah, the intimacy. I like that. And everyone, be it a poem, be it a kiss on the neck, a kiss on the cheek, shared space, a cigar, an unbanded cigar. You know what I'm saying? You know, beautiful. All right.
So my next question is, how will you go about meeting your potential dates? Online or in person? Ooh, Ree.
If it was up to me, the best place to meet someone is in a bookstore.
You said that before. I'm not a fan of that online crap. I'm an energy person, so for me it would be in person. China says thank you.
Thank you, China.
Just a crazy thing. Why both, Omar? Why would you be willing to meet somebody online? I want to hear this. And then Ken says probably online since outside. Well, I mean, outside of the coronavirus, if we could be outside, what would you do? If things were, let's say, January of this year.
See, that's why we need that call in.
Didn't I say I work on that?
No. Yeah, you cool.
What say?
Use a match. Use a match.
You know what? I'm gonna beat you. If I could be outside, I'd be outside. If I meet you online, I got to meet you in person not long after. I agree. Number one, because you could be getting catfished. Number two, like I said, energy is big for me. I mean, because I've met people and instantly gotten nauseous because they've got nasty energy, and I can't have that. Elena says catfishing is real. Oh no, I'm sorry, Elena, that sucks. Omar said, well, it will start online. Confirmation would be upon meeting in person. Well, you know what? I say this. Online, now that we've got Zoom and Facebook Live and you can chat and there's a lot of video thing, that's different too. You can get somebody's energy that way. So, if I were on the market, with it being the way that it is, that would kind of be the only way that that I would do it. Like I would have to talk to you, I would have to see you, just to be sure that you are who you say you are, and then that way it wouldn't be like a surprise. I wouldn't have to be like, well, I'm gonna wear an orange blouse with a flower in my hair, you know what I mean? So you would know how to identify me or whatever. So I guess online it's come up a long way since before. Before we had all the the video and the smartphones and FaceTime and all that other kind of stuff and Duo and this, that, and the other. So I could see it being online. Okay, cool. And then, y'all ready? What are you bringing to the table? Because you've already got your expectations out there. So let's say you meet a guy, he has everything, or you meet a girl, they have everything that you want. What are you bringing to the table that would make them attractive to you? Make you attractive to them. I'm sorry. What would be perfect is to meet someone who, oh, listen. Okay, so I want to hop in on this. Omar, I agree. I can't date somebody that don't smoke cigars. Thank you, Jesus, that my boo does. But the cigar scene in the DMV is small. And a lot of people sleep with a lot of people. So you don't know what you get. So my question is, would you rather meet someone at an event? But the problem for me with these events and stuff is, how do I put it? In certain arenas, you got your little quote unquote cigar celebrities or whatever. So if you're dating one of them, is it the type of person that needs to be seen, always wanting to post everything online, this, that, and the other? These are the type of things that for me played a big part in not dating in a cigar in the cigar pool here. And I'm truly fortunate. The guy that I am dating, he smokes, but he wasn't like a popular guy. You know what I'm saying? Like when we walk into a lounge, not everybody's like, "Oh, she dating so and so." They're like, "Who is that cat?" But I like that. So I guess it all depends on what is it that you're looking for. And Ken says, I need to figure that out. That's why I'll probably be saying, Ken, you got to work on you first. You ain't dating nobody for a minute. Work on yourself first, boo. Work on yourself first. So Elena said, I'm so glad you asked. I'm kind, humble, smart, supportive, independent, and a great friend. Oh. And then initially honest conversation and a sense of stability. Okay. Okay. Well, let me see. I'm looking at what Elena said. Kind, humble, smart, supportive, independent. I am all of those things too. And I'm also willing to compromise. I know we talked about that earlier, but a lot of people aren't willing, to compromise. Are you willing to help? Are you willing to help build? Are you willing to help grow another person? Are you willing to gene a person? Let me type that out. Go ahead. I'm gonna put that out there. Go ahead.
I'm listening, man. You got me in listening mode. I'm captivated.
Growth. I'm typing this out so people can see.
Okay.
Nurture and growth, empower, nurture, and
I will grow, nurture.
what's the other E for?
You say gene, grow, enhance, or empower.
Enhance.
Or enhance and empower again. Can I read what Omar said?
Mm-hmm.
Omar said, you gonna put it up there?
Hold on.
Okay. Omar said, yes, you were right. I was dating. I'll wait till you put it up so everyone can see it. Yes, you were right. I was dating someone who didn't smoke and she hated cigars. And all the time I spent at lounges because my immediate friends smoked cigars.
Okay, so Omar, my ex was the same way. But listen, when I met him, I was a cigar smoker, right? And I was like, listen, I smoke cigars. It's what I do. If you can't handle that, let me know. We can move on. We can go our separate ways. He was like, no, you cool, you cool. I don't have a problem. I ain't trying to change you, yada, yada, yada. So he hit me up, be a Thursday, 6 o'clock. What you doing? At the lounge. And then he was like, I want to see you after. Okay. So I'm a woman. I'm at a lounge. I go see him. And of course, I smell like smoke. Oh my gosh, your hair smells like smoke. That dude, what did I say? This is what I do. If you can't handle it, we can break up. Needs to say we're not together no more. So yeah, a cigar enthusiast who chills in the cut and not famous. Totally agree. But growth, empower, nurture, and enhance. That is gene. If a person is not doing those things, investing those things in you, you need to find somebody who is. Because that just encompasses so. Because if they're doing all of that, love comes naturally.
I mean, that is love.
It is. It's exactly what it is. So if you know, whether you're married or you're dating or whatever, if a person, I call it, if a person isn't gening you, if they aren't helping you grow, empower, nurture, and enhance you, something's wrong. Especially if you are doing those things for, you know, for them. And women, by nature, we are nurturers. That just kind of comes naturally for us, especially if you have children. It's just what we do. We tend to take care of our mate. That's just, you know, my boyfriend tells me all the time. He says, I love the way that you take care of me because I love him. And, you know, I find myself doing more for him than I've done in previous relationships. Well, I used to do some of the things in previous relationships because I thought that would actually keep them. But like I said, if it's not being reciprocated to you, it's not going to last.
Right. Before you read Ken's, because you know we want to dedicate some time to that. You know, you said, you know, it's in your nature to love and to nurture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're with the wrong person, if it's in your nature, right?
Go ahead.
Right. Chef Todd, welcome, man. But
Welcome, man. You missing it, but go ahead.
But you were saying that it's in. Here's one of the challenges. If it's in a woman's nature to nurture, right? Then even if she gets with the wrong cat, there's a tendency that she's going to nurture. You know, so that really has nothing to do with love. If it's in your nature to do that, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think we need to be selective. We need to be selective when it comes to, you know, who we are nurturing. You know, because I don't choose to nurture everybody.
But see, that's something that I had to learn.
Okay.
As a woman, that's something that I had to learn. And the other thing is, not everybody is worthy of you.
Nah.
People need to understand that. Not everybody deserves you. Not everybody deserves what it is that you are giving. You know, if you're with a guy and or if you're with a woman and they're being verbally abusive to you, that person's not worthy of you. They're not worthy of everything that you are depositing in them. And the other way I look at relationships is like this. It's like a bank account. If you're constantly withdrawing from that account and you never deposit into it, pretty soon that account's going to overdraw. You have to have checks and balances. There has to be an equal amount of deposits and withdrawals.
But we also need to go back to our childhood. You know, what did we see? What didn't we see? I don't know if it was China who said it or if it was I forgot her name, Lynette, who said it. You know, in terms of dealing with men. You know, first of all, boys don't have emotional vocabulary. We're not taught to have an emotional vocabulary. We're not taught to talk about our feelings. So that's one thing. So what do you do when you have a male that doesn't talk about his feelings because he's been taught, and then you have a female that's been victimized, so she's not going to talk about her feelings, and they decide they want to procreate and have an offspring. So now you're dealing with some serious dynamics, and then they have both boys and girls.
Just
look at what has been created, but let's go back. Where are we getting our training from in terms of having productive relationships? And what if you didn't have a mother and father who were verbally abusive towards one another, who loved each other, right? And you had that mother, like I think China, I don't know if it's China or
Lynette talked about
don't be silly. Yeah, don't be silly, just pray, right? So what happens if you are a female and you take on that mindset? So then you get with a man who doesn't take on the mindset that your father did towards your mother in terms of loving her. So he's abusive. But the only thing that is, pray, support your man. It's so many different dynamics that we're dealing with in relationships that if we don't go back to the basics, and how do you go back to the basics? Because if your reference point is having a mother that has taken everything from men all the time, abuse and things of that nature, it's the only thing or your father who's been verbally abusive towards his wife, your mother, and she's taken it. So the male grows up to think that's what he's supposed to do, and there's not supposed to be any feedback or being challenged. And a lot of times when men are challenged, their egos get involved. They become overly sensitive. And some of them become violent.
Yep, been there, done that. Been there, done that.
So we need forums. We need to understand why we are the way that we are. Because telling a man now that he needs an emotional vocabulary, he's 41, 42 years old, when he doesn't know how to say, ouch, you hurt me. Ouch, I don't like the way you made me feel. Because as soon as he says that, the words or sayings that I've heard over the last 10 years from females, man up, man up, man up.
You being a punk. You ain't no real man.
Yeah. I mean, what does it mean? How does a woman tell a man to man up?
Right. But what they don't realize is that is what a real man does. A real man will tell you, yo, I ain't with that. I don't like that.
What's the ratio of real men to real women? And vice versa. What's the ratio of real women to real men?
There's some out there. I
would not want to be a black woman in today's society at all, because for black men, there's a lot of decent brothers out here, but I will say for black women, the pickings are slim, and I can understand a lot of times that there is a inside desperation, to find a mate, what's wrong with you? And when you look at women, and it's like they have 6 figures, and either they can't find a man because the man is intimidated by them, or they just don't. The standards don't match up.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead and read what Elena said.
The dynamics of black love are serious. Statistically, we pair at much lower rates than people of other races. This conversation is so important because everyone's looking for love and trying to connect, but struggling to get there. I love them comment. I love when people say my name and just give me those comments. Feed my ego. Being hurt means we are weak or sensitive. You're right. And I was watching the Steve Harvey show when he was the assistant principal. That's when he was cool, right? And he for the longest time was trying to get with Gina, Principal Greer, for the longest time. And this episode, he went over and he's like, you know what? if we show you this, then we weak. You know what I'm saying? If we do this for you, then you think we're this. And it's like, what do you want? But see, that's not all women though, because some women will accept that. You know, they will accept the fact that, this brother just announced to me that, he's vulnerable.
I think it's sexy. I think when a man is vulnerable, it's sexy as hell. I do. When a man is in touch with his feelings and still manly, oh my gosh, bruh, just take the drawers here. Go on, take it. Seriously, it is a beautiful thing when a man, because you're used to women being in touch with their feelings, but when a man is in touch with his feelings and he knows what he wants and he's not afraid to tell you, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful thing. But it's not a lot of guys out here, like you said, that are like that for fear that these chicken heads will look at them like he's not a real man. Because a real man to them is a thug. Really? Really? I want to play something real quick.
Elena nailed it. Yeah, she did. We gotta give her props on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to play this, and I want our viewers to. I want to know what their thoughts are.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept, so black people can have somewhere nice to go to. Okay, somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a. Come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
So, I agree with what Ken said. I saw this video. His message was right. His delivery was wild. It was wild and wrong. Okay, so hold up. I don't think it's wrong because I look at it like this. What's up, Jabari? What he says? Everywhere it doesn't have to be a club. Get the fuck out. So my thing is this. Somebody comes to your house, okay, that you didn't pay for, all this furniture and stuff, and they jumping up and down on your furniture like they ain't got no freaking home training. Get the fuck out is the appropriate, in my opinion, words to say, because it's obvious they don't understand nothing else. This man put his hard-earned dollars, sweat, and tears into that building. You at brunch. And just because the music is quote unquote turn up music doesn't mean that you're supposed to be shaking your ass like you ain't got no home training. But then again, that might have been your home training. So I don't think that his response was wrong. I think it was quite appropriate. And when he said, I don't need your money, he was saying, I don't need that ghetto money. That's how I interpret that. So he doesn't want that in his restaurant, and he has every right to say it. Every right to say it. And the fact that he called it out, I applaud him.
I know we have other comments, but before, can you go to Ken, the last comment that Ken made?
This one?
He said, I get what he's saying. Telling people to get the fuck out of your business is wild. To me, at least as someone who's been in customer service. All right, this is what I want to say. If you didn't see the clip before, if a lot of people didn't see the sister who was twerking. Did you see that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you got that clip of it. The thing about it is, telling someone to get out your business, you're right. We don't need that environment. We don't need that in this type of environment. Yeah, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? You know, get the fuck out, because you coming in here with that dumb shit. And what about decorum? What about class?
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of the type of music that was being played, you know, and I think that the language that he used resonated with certain people.
Exactly.
You know, what about, like he said, you know, if you want to do that, go to where they're doing it. Half the time, would you go to a white restaurant and do that?
Nope. So why is it that you want to demean a brother and in his establishment? So Elena says, I understand where he's coming from, but I hate that we feel the need to police our culture based on what white people believe. In Africa, women of all ages throw that ass in a circle, and it's not sexual, it's cultural. I hate that who we are is over sexualized. We got ass, we can't hide it. And okay, I agree, but there's a time and a place for that. If you're at brunch with the family and you got a 5-year-old daughter and she sees women throwing that ass like that, that's not something I want my kid to see, and they shouldn't have to see. We are there to eat. That type of stuff needs to be saved, like he said, in my opinion, for a club. Yeah. That's not what this is. This is a restaurant. This is a place where we eat. I don't want to see you gyrating and all that other kind of stuff. I would have been offended had I been there to eat.
And you know, when you have little kids, let me tell you something. The Cardi B song, WAP.
Wow. Wet ass pussy.
Let me tell you something. If I hear it coming on and my child is around, and I'm not conservative like, yeah, I am, but I mean, I'm turning it off. You understand what I'm saying? Because could you imagine, you know, so he was right. Make the fuck out of here with that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, you don't want to come back, because for everyone that didn't like what he had to say, it's a bunch of other folks that say, you know what? I'm going back there because I can go back there and his brother's serious. I want to hear the comments. We have to go back up to
Omar. Omar says,
no, we missed it because I don't think we did. Ken said, I saw this video. Okay. His deliveries. Everywhere doesn't have to be a club. Get the fuck out. That's what Jabari said. Omar said, big ups to the brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Omar, that wasn't a vision for his staff. You're right, it wasn't. We got what Elena was saying. Now, 100% correct. Radio Raheem, music sets mood.
He had a DJ,
yeah.
And then Omar's were replying to Elena, we have over-sexualized ourselves, and twerking has become too prevalent for my taste. Okay, but so this is okay. So this is my question for the men.
You want to twerk naked?
But my thing is, do real men respect women who twerk? Because in my opinion, a real man will look at a woman and be like,
in public?
What is the point in twerking? You are trying to what?
Attract attention.
Exactly. Why? As a woman, why do you need to sexualize your body to attract a man? Is that all that you have? Is that all that you are bringing to the table is your body? If it is, I feel sorry for you. So then Jabari says, there are a few elements that should be considered. They're playing music and serving drinks. That's going to attract a certain type of energy that he may want to reconsider. Maybe not play. Okay, I can agree with that. That was one of the things that I was thinking.
But before, like you said, in the African culture, they've been twerking for years. It wasn't called twerking, right? So all of a sudden, someone introduces it over here, and now everybody's doing it, right? And
but did they introduce it outside of
correct?
It was supposed to the way it was, over in Africa.
And that's what. And the crazy thing, I'm with you. And the crazy thing about it is, just because you hear that type of music doesn't mean that you have to twerk.
Exactly.
So the thing
it might not have even been, I don't know what song, I doubt if it was the WAP song, but anything with a beat with some women, they feel like they got to throw that ass. Why? Ken says, I respect her if she does it with me in private. Cuz said, we old though. No. And then, what's up, Eric? I hope you're feeling better, my friend. Only if you're my woman. That's why I say there's a time and a place for everything.
That wasn't a place.
Nope. And Omar says, I say this, I won't be approaching a woman that is twerking in public, other than a strip club, and I don't personally go to those. That's my point. Like, if you're doing that to attract a man, you are attracting the wrong type of man. And then you wonder why your relationships don't work.
But no, you're attracting the type of man that you want. So remember, like I said, women have the relationship they want. It's just like when you see a woman who takes a picture and her butt is sticking out. Why are you showing your picture? But when you go take that corporate picture, you know what I'm saying? Your butt ain't showing. You're showing your face.
Right. So why is it? I know that they say that sex sells, but who are you trying to attract? Because every real man that I know, they despise twerking. They look at it as she's degrading herself, and for what?
You know, it went from making your booty cheeks clap to twerking.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember when I was teaching at a school in DC. I won't mention the name. And this boy, one of the kids was like saying to this girl, she got clappers. And I'm saying to myself, like, what are clappers? Then I had to realize, talking about, you know, her butt was big, and you know, it was you make it clap. You know what I'm saying?
Elena says hypocrisy, and then that part can't turn up. You really can't. You cannot. It's not. I don't listen. If you want to twerk in your bedroom from your man and he like it, that's fine. Not out in public. But there, like you said, there are some men who like it. Just like when I'm out and I see women damn near half naked with a dude on their arm. To me, a real man will be like, baby, that's for my eyes. That's not for every man to see. Leave something to the imagination, man.
Read Elena's, and I wanna say something.
Just kidding. I had to offer another view on the video, but women would not behave in this way if it wasn't beneficial. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Women have the relationship they want. Now let's go back to Ice-T, right?
And Coco, go ahead.
I mean, he wanted to show, she showed her body off, right? For us, more conservative, you don't want everybody out there, you know, gawking at your woman. You know, you want her to dress conservative as well. You know, so some men like that. Elena says something. Jabari said, preach. Both men and women have to take responsibility for this part of our culture. And too many married men engage in looking at the twerkers behind their wives' back.
Say it, Elena, say it.
Public twerking does not attract me at all, right?
Kanye shrug.
And don't be mad when the shit you do or wear attracts flies. If you don't like the compliments, just blame it on the clothes you wear.
Pretty much. Why is he talking to me? Look at how you listen. That kind of goes back to when they say, you know, if a woman was raped, well, how was she dressed? Nah. It doesn't give the man the right to be disrespectful. You can think what you want, but you know.
Yeah, no means no. You know what I'm saying? But David Chappelle said it the best. You know, said it best. He's like, you know, just as like me. You know, a woman going into the club and you know, and titty so big, you know, they popping out of a turtleneck. You know what I'm saying? And you walk up to her like she's a stripper. She said, hold on, wait a minute. Just because I'm dressed like this does not make me a stripper. You know, he said, this is like me dressed like a police officer. and you run to me, oh, officer, help me. He said, oh, wait a minute. Just because I'm dressed like this. You know?
So Omar says the Atlanta scene is crazy. Women go out with nipples showing, not the areolas, the nipple in the cigar lounges. What? Are you kidding me? Please tell me you joking. Are you serious, Omar? Oh, that's just, see? Nope, this is why Nikki's smoking home. I can't. Oh, no. Man, this topic right here.
But hold up. Leave it up to Elena. Look what Elena said. That's true. But are you gonna who are you gonna disrespect first? A nun or a twerker? If you anti-Catholic, you might attack the nun first.
Well, I mean, you have to consider the source too. I mean, I've heard some thuggish dude, rag on a woman because she ain't showing. If she's got a man, it's for her man to see. It's not for the whole world to see. Ken said, this is probably why Bama's got the Rona from Cigar. So, and then we are hunters. So Atlanta has what they call Atlanta Cigar Week. And, it's a week of basically lounge hopping, parties, this, that, and the other. And, I was, before Corona, it was a big deal. I was actually surprised that they had it with Corona being what it is, but I ain't go. But why is it not your fault, Kyle? Kyle was like, not our fault. Why not? You control your eyes. Not all men look at women like that. I mean, when I'm out with my man, his eyes don't stray. Period. And I've actually pointed women out. He'd be like, huh? Where? Who? Huh? He said, I don't want no trouble. And I was just like, what?
Back to that last comment you just made.
What? I'm saying, not that does not attract all men. Some men find it unattractive when women do that.
He's a good dude.
He is, and I tell him that all the time. Not sure how old you are, Kyle, but there has been a role reversal in the young generation. Women are hunting and on the prowl. Oh, you got that right, sis. Yeah, it's just
How you gonna ignore that last comment?
What? Left my? Oh, I'm sorry. Left my. Okay, yes, left.
I point things out to my man, and he be like, what? He's supposed to. What are you gonna say? Yeah, I saw that.
Well, with my ex-husband, I used to do that, and he'd be like, "Oh, she's got a nice body," but he wasn't disrespectful with it.
Right, but he's supposed to. I mean, did you see that? Man, I wasn't even paying. Yeah, I see everything. With me, I used to play basketball. I was a point guard. I got to see everything. Everything.
Your peripheral was on point, huh?
Man, look, I see shit that ain't even there.
Right.
You know,
50 and I stay inside. I know that's right, cuz. Cuz said he don't want that smoke. Respectfully, Nikki, you have all he needs. Shit, what most heterosexual men need. Thank you, bro. And I get that, and that's my point. When you are in a healthy relationship and you're giving each other everything that the other one needs, there's no need for your man or for your woman to look or for their eyes to wander, because all that they need is right in front of them.
Yeah, but right. That's what. Correct.
But
you say that you say to your man, all you need is right here in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Subjective. It's very subjective, right? Because you think that all that he needs, right? And you may be correct. I guess what I would say is, look, we're at the point in our lives now where there may be some other stuff that you want or possibly or potentially need or think you need, right? but why mess up what you have, right? I used to work at Johnson and Murphy, and they had a saying, because you never know who that customer that's going to come in is going to be your $1,200 sale, right? So if you're sitting there and you're working with someone and all of a sudden you don't think that they amount to anything, and you look at someone else and you want to rush over to that customer and leave the customer that you have, that you're working with, leave them hanging. They always said, never jump over $1 to get to a dime. Or there's a saying that says, learn to be content with what you have while you pursue the things that you want, right? Mm-hmm. And that can work in your relationship. Be content with what you have while in the relationship pursuing what it is that you want. But then you're going back to emotional intelligence. You're going back into, maybe you didn't have a healthy childhood growing up, and you didn't understand your relationships, your parents' relationships, and maybe you've taken on some characteristics that you don't want. But now you have an opportunity. So now you're a tad bit more open, because when people say, "Oh, I'm going to go to the park so I can be happy," hell, if you ain't happy by the time you get to the park, going to the park ain't going to make you happy.
Nope.
If you go to therapy, say, I'm not going to therapy for the therapist to heal me. I'm going because I want to be healed. Because there's some things that in my life that I want to see differently and do differently and experience. So therefore, everything that I need is within me, and I'm going to get some things. So, hopefully the person that you with recognizes, yeah, there's always going to be somebody smarter, bigger, better, smells better than you, right? But it doesn't mean that person is going to want you.
Exactly.
And so you just jumped over $1 just to get to a dime.
I believe in monogamy, but I don't think that every man has everything I want and need. Ken says, never step over $1, get a dime. I felt that so much less. And at least I haven't met him yet. Elena, I'm with you on that. And my last relationship, I thought that he was everything that I needed, and I found out that he wasn't. And I told at the time that I met my boyfriend, I was pretty much ready to give up on love. I was ready mentally to be like, okay, I'm gonna be by myself for the rest of my life, and I was okay with that. And here he comes, I call him Mr. Perfect, and I realize that no one's perfect, but he's perfect for me. And I told him that he has everything that I have prayed for in a man. Everything. It goes back to what Les was saying about the gene. He grows, he enhances, he nurtures, and he empowers me. And I've never had that in a relationship before. And does that mean that, our relationship is always smelling like roses? No. But we have more good than bad. And I really believe that it is important for any relationship, romantic relationship, to be successful, you have to be friends first. Because when you start to or waver on love, you've always got that friendship to fall back on. And sometimes you can look at that person and be like, this is who I fell in love with. Yep.
The word friend is subjective.
Okay.
Friends mean different things to different people.
True.
Right? So when someone says we were friends first, right? I looked at, many years ago, my relationships, and the majority of my relationships with females were women that I was around for a while. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't like you see somebody from across the room, oh, I like you, you like me, let's get together, right? So you start dating, then that's not being friends. These females were females that I were friends with. We were in the same circle. And then all of a sudden, something kicked off. So when you say you got to be friends first, well, hell, how does that look? Because most people don't even know what a friend is. They don't even know how to be friendly. So how do you go for someone who doesn't have any friends, right, to being in a relationship with them? And then they say, you're my best friend. You're my only friend. Hell, I don't want to be your best friend. I don't want to be your only friend. Because if I'm your best and only friend and you ain't got none and we're in a relationship, somebody's going to suffer. And it ain't going to be you.
Well, but that goes back to what I said before about being dependent on a person. Your world cannot fully revolve around the person that you are in a relationship with.
Right.
So he get his recognition. And I totally agree. And I got 2 Ks in my name, bruh. So, but that goes back to what I said about not being dependent on that person. Like my boyfriend tells me all the time, go hang out with your girls, do girl stuff, have girl weekend. Everything shouldn't be always about me, because I think a lot of times in relationships, people lose their identity. They get so wrapped up into that other person that they lose who they are.
We've been socialized to do that. I mean, look at it. Why are we the way that we are? You know, I mean, we've been fed FED, fear, envy, distrust, right? We've been fed. So it's either we don't trust, we're hanging out, we become emotionally dependent. And why is it that people are got to be more? Is she typing a book?
Go on, read what she said.
And I gotta read it. And I gotta read it. Oh, here we go. Let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your heart, but not. Oh, there's more coming. I can't hear you, Nikki. You're on mute.
That kind of goes to this last thing, where your friends support and respect your decision. See, a lot of times in relationships, like if you got girlfriends or guy friends or whatever,
Hold on. Hey, she's gonna deny it, but yeah, she is low key. Don't believe nothing she says out of her. If she says no, she's lying. I knew that was coming.
It sounded like
I knew it, but you know what? I didn't want to come across as a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to come across. I got one for you. She can't outdo me. You
why
ready?
you gotta act like that? Go ahead.
It's that male ego. Look not for love, but recognize it when it comes.
Get your boy later.
I'm back on top. I got nervous there. Look, I was like Trump and Biden. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The numbers was getting kind of close. The electoral college numbers was getting close.
Shut up. So when you're single, you hang out with like-minded people, right? You got your boys, you got your girls, right? So when you get into relationships, let's get in his spiel. Snap. Let's she type a thesis in 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. Hey.
Leave her alone. I like poetry. But like I was saying.
Let me say this. this is classic Elena for you, right? You know what? And she's like my therapist. You know what I'm saying? Really. So I just had to say that. You know.
So, but when you're single, you hang out with like-minded people, and when you get into a relationship, friends tend to fall back. You know, I think true friends kind of give you that space. You know, if the relationship is new, trying to get to know, your partner or whatever. But then not everybody that says they're happy for you are really happy for you. And that's one of the things that I noticed in certain acquaintanceships, because you really can't call them friendships, because true friends will be happy for you, in your relationship. But then you're gonna have those that are secretly hating on you because misery loves company. And some people feel like, well, dang, that person stole my friend. Instead of being happy that your friend found someone that that they like and are happy with. So Omar says, love you, and I appreciate your input, respect.
Yeah. Listen, let me say this. And you're right. You see, and I think this was for people like Ken and anybody else going through challenges. One of the reasons why I stay kind of even keel is, Elaine and I talk all the time, right? And it's these dialogues, like going to therapy without going to see a therapist. It's these dialogues that help, bring you back to earth. You know what I'm saying? Because I know me. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm tough. I know I am shielded. I'm guarded. I'm all of that. I'm vulnerable. I'm all of that. You know what I'm saying? I am both the prisoner, you know what I'm saying, and the prison guard, policing myself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So as we start talking about relationships and, being around people like I told Elena, you know what I'm saying? Before you get married, I need to meet this guy. You understand what I'm saying? Because we need to have these checks and balances going on. That, like what Kim was saying, why was it that, I'm thinking that my parents gave her the side eye because she was Caucasian, but maybe there was some other things that was jumping off that your mother saw that you didn't see. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know who's being sincere. We don't know if this person is shitting on him so he can get him. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're talking about you, so you'll kick them to the curb so they can sneak in and pull your girl. We don't know. It's challenging right now with relationships. Even if you're in them, it's challenging. And I say this for single folks, you guys may be more fortunate than the ones who are in relationships, especially if it's not going well, because peace and freedom is what single people have.
Elena has said something, I was trying to find it. She has said something along the lines of, family and friends can see things, that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And he says dirty macking. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that was important for me in my relationship was, because I smoke cigars, and I have
you do
those. Shut up. I have those people that that I was smoking with on a regular. So for me, it was really important for me to introduce my boyfriend to those people, because I wanted him to know who my circle was. So if he ever hit me up and like, what you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm at the lounge with Craig, or I'm at the lounge with Cirillo. I want his response to be like, oh, tell him I said, what's up? It was important for me to introduce him to those people, because I never wanted him to feel like I would ever put anybody over him. Not like that. So I introduced him. We all smoked together, hung out, drunk. I mean, was drinking and having a good time. And everybody that I have introduced him to, he likes. And that was important for me. Now, if there was anybody that he was side-eyeing or looking at differently, luckily it wasn't. But if it was, I would have asked him, okay, well, what about that person don't you like? What is it that you're seeing that I'm not seeing?
But
especially if it's a guy, because sometimes you're in a relationship, you're too close, you can't see it.
right.
But like I was saying, when you're on the outside looking in, sometimes you see things,
right.
you know. And go ahead.
You're speaking from such a mature place, okay? Because, and fortunately for you, you found someone that is compatible with your concepts, your ideas, your norms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because your thing is, all right, I'm gonna introduce you to my circle, okay? Because I want you to feel comfortable. But you can't control if they're going to feel safe, secure, and comfortable, right? Which goes back, and I tell people all the time, it's a crapshoot. Because at any point, a person can say, everyone has the right to change their mind. And at any given time, somebody can wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, right? But the simple fact of the matter that you open yourself up and continue to be you, but you are at a mature place in your life right now, you know, and fortunate for you that he's receptive to what it is that you're doing. But the crazy thing about it is, take a person like you, right, that's open, honest, and you get up with someone that's insecure, got ego problems, you know, and you do the same thing, right? And then they shut you. What happens in your next relationship? Are you going to say, well, maybe I should conceal my friends?
No, because I look at it as that person just didn't have the emotional intelligence to handle it. I'm not going to not be who I am. I'm not going to dumb myself down for anybody. If they can't handle it, because these were friendships that I've had for years.
Right.
And I'm not going to throw them to the curb because whoever I'm with is not emotionally strong enough or mature enough to handle that. If you trust me, then you trust me. If I trust you, then I trust you.
And like I said, you're mature, right? The problem is that we start out in relationships with, let's be open and honest with one another. Okay, cool. I'm gonna lay all my cards on the table. But the person that you're dealing with doesn't put their cards on the table.
But see, to me, that's a flag.
Well, you don't know, as the sister said earlier, certain things you don't know until, be it your third eye is turned off, you're not paying attention to it, you're being pressured, society is dictating, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. But the simple fact of the matter that if it doesn't work out because you're being open and honest, it doesn't mean that in your next relationship, you're going to conceal who you are. You're going to be who you are. And that's a beautiful thing. Oh, and by the way, Omar, what's the name? Not Costco. What's the other one? BJ's. I got it from BJ's. Throw it up.
Ken said I had someone I'm cool with tell me a few weeks ago that since she wasn't a fan of my ex but was cordial to her out of respect. And that's a real friend. And that's a real friend. You know, it's everybody's not gonna mesh. In a perfect world, yes, everybody's not gonna mesh. But if the person that you're not cool with is the same sex as your partner, whatever. If it's the opposite sex, that's when things can get kind of dicey. You know, it's like if I ever introduced him to somebody and there was a guy and he didn't like it, I'm gonna have to look at the situation. And like I said, I would have to ask him, what about this person don't you like? And depending on what the answer is, I may have some decisions to make. Depending on how long I've been friends with that person, what that person means to me, in my life or whatever. Now, if it's somebody who I can be like, okay, I can see what you're saying, and maybe have a conversation, or the three of us have a conversation, then I'm all about that. In a relationship, there should be transparency. I believe that, because if there isn't, then the person is like, well, what do you have to hide? Why can't this happen, or why can't that happen? And I learned from a past relationship what we talked about emptying the bag and doing that self-reflection. Well, what could I have done differently to make this better? That was one of the things. Introducing, okay, so, and that's what I did. And it turned out, to be a really good thing. And then he's done that with me. These are my folks. These are the folks that I hang out with from time to time, this, that, and the other. Okay, cool. Everybody knows who everybody is. So if he ever says, yo, I'm with so-and-so, tell him I said, what's up?
Right. Quick, just had a text message. They wanted to know how to comment. They need to befriend you first, correct?
No, it should be, it's public. On Facebook?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it should be public.
Okay, cool, no problem. You know what? To turkey back off of that. I don't eat pork, so I don't say PIP word. To turkey back off of what you just said.
No, it's public. It's public. I just checked.
Okay. Like I said, man, you never know, because it would be a shame for anybody to introduce their significant others to their friends, and your significant other has a problem with one of your friends, and it could be their own issue.
Mm-hmm.
And you sever the ties with your friend, and then your relationship doesn't work, and you've lost a good friend. It has to be valid. It has to be rooted in some behavior. And then you have to come to a point like, you know what? For years, I didn't like you. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It wasn't you. It was my own fears, my own jealousy, my own insecurities. But see, keep in mind, it seems like we're getting thinner and thinner and thinner with honesty, openness, transparency, and things of that nature. It's 2020. It's 2020. And dude got to tell a person to get the fuck out of his restaurant because somebody's in there shaking their ass while they're eating. But yet, had you gone to jazz at Lincoln Center, Symphony Hall somewhere, and they was playing Beethoven or Mozart, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure they can get down in that violin that make you want to twerk your butt. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it.
Right. Why is it acceptable in Black establishments but not
correct
white establishments?
And I've always said, have some class about your ass. You know what I'm saying? And twerking is not having class about your ass. Now, if you're in a strip club, I dig it. Twerk on.
Time and place for everything. It's in Ecclesiastes. So
we listen. Like I said, the relationships out here are people to people. Jean-Paul Sartre said, hell is other people. There's so many people that enjoy spending time and being by themselves, but they're not going to bring any drama to themselves. They're not going to bring any pain. They're not going to do any of it. And with that being said, don't look for love. Recognize it when it comes. Ask the Creator to send somebody your way that's going to have your best interest at heart, and be open. So if you say you want a kind, respected person, someone that's going to grow you, don't get upset when you get challenged and you're being developed. You're always fussing at me. No. That's your ego. I'm not fussing. I didn't raise my voice. You're condescending. I'm not being condescending.
Mm-hmm.
And these challenges that we deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That was me. But like you said earlier, I didn't have the emotional intelligence to handle constructive criticism. And I feel like if you want to grow, you need constructive criticism. You know, and my boyfriend tells me all the time. I make this face, and he's like, "You can make that face all you want.
Right.
I'm gonna always tell you the truth, and
Right.
you'll get over it."
You get, and watch this. Watch this. Criticism isn't constructive or destructive. It's just criticism. It's how you take it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And also the delivery makes a big impact, you know, as well. Because you can say the same thing to a person 7 different ways, and each time they'll take it 7 different ways.
right.
You know, so the delivery is, and everything that says should always come from a place of love. But I have a question for our viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all believe in soulmates?
Whoa. Elena got to say about that.
Do you believe in soulmates? Because I do. I do believe in soulmates. I believe that my parents are definitely soulmates. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to see what true love is. You know, even when my mom and dad were angry at each other, my mother still cooked my dad his meal, still fixed his plate, and put it on the table for him.
She ain't spitting.
She might not have been talking to him.
She ain't spitting.
No.
Hold up. Before we get into that.
Yes.
I believe in soulmates, but I don't believe that you always marry your soulmate.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Big time. So he says, still looking for mine. Yes, I do. And I believe that when you okay, so Elena says there are some people that you have an instant and lasting affinity to, and you don't have to date them. So my friends are soulmates too. Now that's very interesting, Elena. I never looked at it like that. And I guess I do have 3 female friends who I can say are like my female soulmates. Like we just instantly clicked from the moment that we met, and been like riding hard, you know, ever since. But I believe that when you meet your romantic soulmate, that you know, like it's like this connection unlike anything that you've ever felt before.
Right. But soulmates doesn't necessarily have to deal with love either. It's your soul connectivity. It has nothing to do with intimacy. It's your soulmate.
Sorry, Jabari said, yeah, they're your soulmate until you start dating them.
Hey, people say, my soulmate, my friend, my lover, my confidant. Yeah, okay. Then they get divorced. What happened? You know what I'm saying? You find out for the whole time y'all been together, this person was cheating, and you know, like, so how was it your soulmate?
That person wasn't your soulmate.
And so soulmates have nothing to do with, in my opinion, the type of relationships that people think. You know, I married my soulmate. No, your soul ties. We're talking about some different energy here.
Hey, another great show. I gotta head out as I've been up since 2 and I'm wearing down. Aw, get you some rest, Ken. You know we'll be here next week.
Man up. Man up. 2 more hours. A real black man don't need no sleep.
So we are definitely gonna continue this relationship conversation. Next week we're gonna get into some nitty gritty. Next week. Ooh. Say
I'm gonna have a great weekend. Hush up, Les. Man up. What do you need to go sleep for? Your father didn't sleep. Your father didn't sleep. That's the shit we've been taught all our life. Like real men don't need 8 hours worth of sleep.
That's crazy. That's some BS. That's some BS. But no, I believe in soulmates. I really believe So Elena says, have a great weekend. He says, appreciate you, Queen. I like what Elena said. I want to put that back up on the screen real quick, where she says, you don't have to date them. Some of my friends are soulmates too.
Ask Elena, am I her soulmate?
Huh?
Ask Elena.
Elena, Les wants to know if he's your soulmate.
I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Asking for a friend. Hey, Jabari, we're here every Wednesday at 4:00.
Radio Raheem.
You stupid. You got issues. You really got issues.
He the one that got Radio Raheem up here.
Who? Oh,
Yeah.
I need to have it on my other hand. Love. Hey, you stupid. You stupid. So yeah, we are going to continue this relationship convo next week. Thank you, Elena. I always appreciate your input, my dear. I really do.
It's Shiznick.
These are conversations that need to be had. People need to get stuff off their chest. I will look into nah.
Hello,
Hey, Omar, you Ty's soulmate. That's our sister. you Ty's soulmate. Who she gonna beat my ass for that? What was I gonna say? Oh, I will look into getting it so that y'all can call in. I gotta figure that out. Because like I said, I'm broadcasting across 3 platforms with the platform that I'm using. So I don't know. Maybe I can still stream and maybe share the screen with the Zoom. And then they can call in via the Zoom. So Les, we can play with that.
Okay.
Offline and see if that works or not, and then I can say, here y'all, call this number. And yes, Les is my soulmate because I don't know how we became friends.
Right. I orchestrated all of this shit. Elena read my book. She said, dude, your book sucks. You know what I'm saying? Let me edit it for you. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's a soulmate for your butt, ain't it?
So, Elena, I have the original one that came out in 2014?
Yeah.
I have that one, and I'm looking forward to the new one. Wait, is the new one out yet?
Not yet.
Dude, we're supposed to be out.
Hey.
It's supposed to be. You know what?
What did Malcolm say? Don't air dirty laundry.
Okay. I got to beat him up in private then. All right, y'all. For my cigar and pairings, I am drinking, what is this? Oh, I'm drinking pear white wine. It is really good. And my unbanded cigar. So, I did talk to I talked to Cirillo about coming back and doing Unbanded Part 2. Yes. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to get the whip out and everything.
You taking it? You can say that.
So Cirillo said he is going to come back and I'm a Virgo. That's what we do.
Violent.
So we're going to have Cirillo back on so he can talk about the cigars and Unbanded Part 2. He's going to do cigars and pairings with different bourbons and whiskeys and stuff. So I got to schedule that. I'll let you guys know when that is for those of you who are cigar smokers. You won't want to miss that. This man, I mean, he needs, I don't know what they call people. What do they call the wine people that are experts? I forgot what they call them.
Wine experts.
You know what? No, it's a word. It's a particular word. I forgot. Anyway, he's like the bourbon whiskey whisperer or whatever. He knows about all of that stuff. Uncle Nearest, Elijah Craig, all of that stuff. So thanks, cuz. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, yeah.
So next week, we're gonna talk about relationships again, and maybe the week after that we can get
Can you put up? Could you, for those who are here, I sent you the private chat. This will help the conversation.
what the Amos Wilson thing?
Yeah.
All right, hold up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Les wants y'all to see this. Oops. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, that'll help.
Amos Wilson, YouTube, Black love male and Black love female relationships. Okay. All right. We'll check it out. Cali Red Blend is what I'm on with my cigars. Okay. You still smoking them little lightweight cigars though? Wine aficionados. You know, we try. I like wine with my with my cigars. Some people like bourbon, some people like whiskey, some people like scotch, some people like cognac.
Here she go. Here she go.
Yes, thank you, Elena Sommelier. Yes, thank you. And see, I knew my girl got my back. That's why I love her. She got my back. Thank you, honey. He's like the sommelier of bourbons and whiskeys and stuff. I don't know what you would call that, but yeah, I knew that there was a word for it. He said wine experts. She one-upped you again, Les. So she is taking the electoral college lead right now. You know that,
right? I'm Trump. I lost this one up.
Exactly. So I can't thank y'all enough for y'all support.
Appreciate it.
And y'all comments. This show was just awesome. I love your input. Lies, you know darn well I don't smoke no sissy. I ain't say sissy. I said lightweight, meaning Connecticut's. You ain't smoking them full bodies like I am, bruh. You wait, have you had the Neanderthal yet from Roma Craft? Waiting. Don't worry. I'm like Cat Williams. Don't worry. I'll wait. Because sis already told me what you be smoking on. And you lucky she wasn't on here because you know she'd take my side because she liked me more. He gonna beat me up. So, all right. You got anything else you want to add? Good. I'm glad you have. I'm glad you like it. Different days require different smokes. Oh, Jabara, you ain't, boy, speak on that. You got that right. Some days you need something real strong, and other days, you know, you just want to chill.
Well, we're going to come up with a black spasm cigar.
Well, first, you got to have somebody that can blend it. You got to get somebody that knows about blending. Then you got to have somebody roll it, and then you need to have a factory, preferably for me in Nicaragua, to roll it and produce it. You got to have, listen, if you're going to put your name on a cigar, it better be quality because I don't smoke no trash.
All right.
You know, because mofos be like, oh, I got a cigar out and it tastes like just paper, just nastiness. He said, just finish it over until tomorrow. So, but yeah, you got to have somebody that can blend it, that can roll it. You got to have different flavors and stuff, different sizes. It's a lot. And then with the whole thing with the FDA, I am actually smoking a Cubanicon, not Lancero. Geez, what is it? The Cubanicon cheese and crackers. It's not the Lancero. It's the what's the other size? Oh, this is bad. Shoot, I forgot. But it's a Cubanicon. what is the? I can't remember the size. It's not a Lancero. It's a It begins with an L. I don't know, but Eric, it's a Cubanicon. I take my bands off until if you are on YouTube, look us up. No, it's not a Robusto. Look us up on YouTube, Black Spasms, and where we talked about unbanded. That's what I'm doing. I take all my bands off until the cigar industry recognizes that Black Lives Matter and that we buy cigars, Black dollars matter. And until they can recognize that, I don't smoke with the bands on anymore. So it's called Unbanded. And the guy who actually created it, he was on. So if you go to our YouTube page, which is Black Spasms, and look at that particular podcast, he tells you all about it. So that's why I don't have a band. And everything you'll see me smoking on here will not have a band on it until the cigar industry recognizes us, recognizes our blackness and our Black dollars. So yeah. You got anything you want to say to the people, Les?
Thank you. Great show. Appreciate the input.
Awesome. All right, y'all. We've kept y'all long enough. We thank you so much for your support, your love. Exactly, Omar. No free advertisement.
If everyone on could go out, tell their friends, check us out next week. Start subscribing.
Yes. So if you go to that website, Eric, it'll take you to all of our social media platforms, our Twitter page, our Instagram page, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow us. Please put that out there. Have people follow us, subscribe. We do this every Wednesday at 4:00. Black Spasms. For those who don't know, tell them what Black Spasms is, Les, because we got some new folks on.
The pain and discomfort associated with being Black. Black Spasms. What? That's the definition.
I know, but go into some depth. So for those who don't know, Eric is new. Omar is new. Jabari is new.
Got 2 women bossing me around today.
This is your baby.
Still is. Black Spasms, the pain and discomfort associated with being Black. And what we do is talk about Black issues and how Black people have been affected by, I won't necessarily say Caucasians, but throughout history, from enslavement to Jim Crow laws to Breonna Taylor, to all the brothers and sisters who've been gunned down on the street, to fair market housing or the lack of, because of the color of our skin. And what we're working on now is eradicate Black Spasms to get people to understand that, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. We're not a movement. We are a consciousness. We want people to understand that, especially with eradicate Black Spasms, that the way that we go about handling issues is not by burning shit up and tearing shit down or marching. If you want to march, you can. But Black Spasms is all about having conversations, about being able to change legislation, to have these dialogues, and to elevate our consciousness through conversations and awareness and reading and books and education to change the outcome and outlook of how things are, period.
Cool. Eric, it's the Lonsdale. It's the Cubanicon Lonsdale. I kept wanting to say Lancero, but it's a Lonsdale. So a Lonsdale is not as long as a Lancero, but it's got all the flavor of a Lancero. It's just a little bit shorter than a Lancero, but this is a Lonsdale. Well, you're new to commenting and the show, so yeah, you are new. You see what I got to deal with? This is my idea. So this is the Lonsdale. I was gonna get that out. It was driving me crazy. So it's the Lonsdale, and After this, I'm probably gonna smoke me a Robusto. So, what?
When you gonna smoke?
The most that I have smoked in one day has been 7 cigars.
Okay.
So, I mean, listen, this is what I do. I told you, this relaxes me.
I feel you.
Hey, Omar, how many have you smoked? Like, you know, you go to the lounge early. How many have you smoked in a day? Jabari, how many have you smoked in a day? Eric, how many have you smoked in a day? These my smokers, man.
I'm with you.
So,
I'm
you
great.
know,
I'm great to smoke a pipe.
do you know how to smoke the pipe?
You know.
Do you know how to pack it and all that good stuff?
You gotta
He said, "Ooh, damn."
know. 7.
It depends on how I'm feeling. Don't let me have some good wine. Shh. Listen, I have killed a bottle of wine with like 2 or 3 cigars. He says not 7. Hey, I was at an event, Jabari. The event started at like noon, and I think I was smoking like all day. So I mean, it was 12 hours. So it started at noon. I don't think I left till like midnight. Of course, you know, I ate in between, but you know, you get to talking, this, that, and the other. You just keep lighting up. And of course, he leaves me. Great. All right, y'all. On that note, on the weekend 3, 1 full body. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm out because, of course, Les hit the wrong button again. So hopefully you guys will be back next week where we continue this conversation on relationships. We're going to get down and dirty next week about relationships, getting into the nitty gritty. This was just about dating. Next week is going to be about when you're in the relationship, how you keep it, all of that good stuff. So, yep. Omar says, what do you say? One weekend I smoked 8 ZZ. What is that? Hold on, Les is back. Hit the wrong button again, huh, Les? Yeah, I called you out. Jabari says, thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. So I was telling them next week we're going to talk about once you're in the relationship, how to keep it, you know, all that good stuff. So, all right, y'all, we out because I see the baby girl. She ready for her daddy. Peace out. I want to thank you guys again for everything. And we out. Love you guys.